Prologue. Yuri, January 17, 1945. Poland. Yuri huddled under a woolen blanket with her sister Eva in the back seat of the black sedan. The windshield wipers strained against the pelting snow as frost collected in the corners of the windows, obscuring an unfamiliar landscape flashing by in the morning light. Yuri welcomed the wool's comfort, despite the pungent odor of mildew. She was warmer than she'd been in months. 3 months, Yuri guessed. She could be mistaken, of course, as the trauma had numbed her mind. Yuri closed her eyes and tried to force the terrifying images from her consciousness. Still, the visions replayed. The Nazi SS breaking down the door to their home in the dark of the night, shooting her mother and father when they protested, and dragging Yuri and Eva to the brickyards like animals. Then the marching and the bitter cold and the bone-jarring hunger. Her mind couldn't erase the shallow, vacant eyes of the dead along the road. Starvation or exposure had taken many of them, while others were executed for seemingly random and merciless reasons. Visions replayed of the elderly man with the kind eyes who'd handed them a thick wool coat, blessed them in Hebrew, and ran toward the trees, only to be cut down by machine gun fire from a nearby SS officer. And the grandmother who shared her moldy bread and a piece of sausage with them, only to collapse and die of starvation 2 days later. Yuri couldn't banish the monsters haunting her nightmare. The young German soldiers who sneered and shot insults at the continuous line of her people, and the guards who laughed at their misery as they forced the captive multitude forward with the butts of their guns and snarling dogs. 6 weeks of endless trudging through the snow to Austria, stepping over the countless dead. Numb with cold and exhaustion, Yuri had no tears except when her unyielding consciousness projected images of her parents lying dead in their own blood. "Papa, Mother." Their friends had tried to protect them, but someone had ratted them out. Yuri's eyes snapped open to the harsh voices of the 2 Nazi SS soldiers in the front seat who argued over which road to take. The ranking soldier in the passenger seat chain-smoked, and his agitated speech slurred more and more as he took slug after slug from a silver flask. The sisters had a rudimentary understanding of German, but through an unspoken mutual pact at the beginning of the journey, they chose to stay mute. They concluded the driver didn't appreciate heading into harm's way with 2 Jewish girls while the Russians advanced on the Eastern Front. Yuri had pieced together that their destination was Poland to meet a doctor in a work camp called Auschwitz. But it remained a mystery why the Germans had singled them out. Yuri tightened her embrace around Eva's shoulder as her sister rested her head in the crook of Yuri's neck. Because they frequently sat together in this position with Eva on the left and Yuri on the right, probably the way they'd grown in utero 18 years ago, their mother had often joked that they acted more like Siamese rather than the identical twins they were. Yuri, the protector, was younger, only because their father believed she'd pushed Eva out of the birthing canal ahead of her. Yuri winced at the pain in her groin. She had to urinate so badly. She couldn't hold it much longer. Afraid to speak up, afraid to soil the car. It had been 8 hours since the Nazis had stopped the sedan and forced the girls to squat and pee like dogs while they stood over them. A train clattered on the tracks alongside the road. Yuri distracted herself by counting the cars. 50. All identical, similar to the livestock trains that had passed near their home in Budapest. "It must be headed to a slaughterhouse." Through the veil of the snowstorm, she could make out a massive complex looming in front of them. The driver shot a glance at the girls in the rearview mirror as they approached an iron gate, and he slowed the sedan. Yuri ducked her head to read the inscription. Arbeit macht frei. The drunken, ranking soldier caught her gaze and read the sign aloud. Arbeit macht frei, he sneered, and motioned as if working the ground with a hoe.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.